Tonight, the mainstream media is melting over the new QAnon phenomena that has come to light, and we talk about FISA and what is going to be coming around the corner. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, every episode starts the exact same way. I say thank you to each and every one of my subscribers because I know without you guys it wouldn't be possible, and I'm thankful, and new people are joining every day. So if you have not hit that subscribe button, please come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, as soon as videos get posted, you'll be notified because as soon as information is made available to me, I make it available to you. So here's where we left off. If you guys want to get caught up to where we're at all the way to now, I encourage you to come back here and watch this last video, watch the last few videos if you want to get caught up on the last few posts. And if you're scratching your head going, what's QAnon? And you want to figure out more about it, even if you know what QAnon is, but you want to learn more about, how to research, how to find the posts, how to get involved, come here, watch this video right here. It's the What is QAnon video. It'll definitely show you a lot of stuff and give you a lot of information that'll be quite helpful. So now we're going to get into this post here. And we'll just go through it real quick. It says, what happens when you are a threat to the MSM old guard? And it gives this Twitter article or Twitter post, which is from NBC News, talking about how Reddit's latest data breach is threatening the anonymity of users on its platform. And I wonder what that is targeted at. Well, I can guarantee you it has something to do with the Great Awakening board over here on Reddit. So if you guys don't know about it, it's a great tool. Go find Great Awakening board on Reddit. It's like 50,000 people and everybody's putting up good posts and the moderators do a good job. It's really a great source for just a whole bunch of information, and you can read for hours and hours in there, and it's really interesting. But yeah, the article says hackers came and stole the email addresses, so no longer anonymous on Reddit. See, now this is all a tactic. It says coincidence, threats, scare tactics deployed, fear not, Q. Well, I put my faith in God, and I know that with God on my side, these people can say what they want and do what they want to me here in this world. But the reality is that I'm fighting for the higher power. I'm fighting for God. I'm fighting for the truth, and I'm fighting for you guys out there. Just to be able to bring this information to you on a regular basis is a blessing, and I just want you guys to know that everyone out there who's been, the Anons, the Audis, the people who make this all possible, thank you. Stay safe. We're all praying for you, and Q's right. We should not fear it, and we need to embrace it because the media is coming hard at us. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before. You turn on CNN, and this is what they have on their their screen. The headline: Why is conspiracy cult QAnon showing up at Trump campaign rallies? I wonder why. It's because these people see us and they understand what we are. We are a threat to what they do because they give us lies, fake news, and propaganda, and we give you the truth and starting points to ask your own questions, to do your own logical thinking, to do your own critical thought or thinking, and to do your own investigation into what you want to see. If you want to go find the truth about something, you can go do that because this is where we get these little clues, the breadcrumbs to go on. And obviously they want you to stay locked into their lies, locked into their propaganda, locked into their fake news that they so vehemently say they are not engaged in, but it's a regular practice on their channel, and even the President of the United States says it. So I don't know what more you would need to hear from anyone else other than that. And I mean, it's hard for me to watch it nowadays, but I have watched it in the past, and it's just unbelievable the kind of stories they run, the kind of people they have on there. Phil Mudd and all the Trump-hating Tom Steyer and all these people who are involved with basically trying to unseat a duly elected president through any means necessary, whether that's by falsifying investigations or by turning the screws on previous associates or doing thuggery and doing misappropriation of the federal law enforcement agencies. I mean, this is not a game, and they're in it to win it. They really want to go, and guess what? We are too, and we're much more equipped to handle this than you guys will ever be. That being said, and Anon pointed out something very, very interesting that I want to share with you. And Anon just said basically next up will be Antifa wearing Q shirts and causing havoc across the country. Mainstream media question today, set their stage, heads up everyone, and that's so true. They've done it before. Antifa's gone out and worn "Make America Great" hats and committed acts of violence. And apparently, every single network, all the conspiracy networks, and all their crazy garbage that they call news, which is fake news, they're all saying the same thing. We're violent. We're a violent movement. Well, never once on this channel have I ever advocated violence, nor will I ever, because I think it's the wrong. It's not correct. It's not the way to solve any problem. You leave that to those who you trust in the elected positions and the positions where they're put, police, military, whatever, right? That's not for us. For us to do is to ask questions. But like I've said, by these liberals' own false logic, they can call us a cult and deem us and our speech a threat to their very existence, thereby giving them the right to defend themselves with force. And that's unacceptable. That's ridiculous. You know how many times I've heard this term hate speech thrown around, and people actually taking up or committing acts of violence against people for the words that they've said. And if you don't believe me, watch any of the protests where, people are getting beat over the head with bike locks or smashed with baseball bats or hit with, iron pipes because they wear a "Make America Great Again" hat, or because they have an American flag wrapped around them. So I'm not making that up. That's just the way it is, or the way it's gotten to, and it needs to stop. Nobody here, I know I can only speak for myself. So let me just say, unequivocally, and I'll say this very slow so that you guys can understand. No one I ever have met through this time, and none of the information that I've gotten has ever made me advocate for violence, and nor will I ever do that. So I don't know what to say besides that. Then the next one, Juan on Fox talking about Q at rally. That's an Anon posting here, and Q says, right after we mentioned Fox News, what a coincidence, fishing is fun. Q, and here you have this one where you have them saying, and we talked about this in the last video, but it says, did you notice the Fox News coverage of QAnon last night? Targeted. Why isn't Fox News part of the MSM coordinated blitz attack? Logical thinking. POTUS. Q. So personally, my take on this is pretty simple, is that it's talking about Juan Williams, obviously, from The Five. And I actually watched this. Believe it or not, I just happened to be watching The Five today, which I don't usually watch that every day or even really that regularly, but I just happened to be watching it today. And I just happened to be watching that exact part where Juan Williams starts talking about Q. And I'm thinking that what Q is saying here is that kind of they scrambled after they realized that they were called out for the positive coverage, you could say, I guess, and they had to get Juan Williams up there to be their spokesman for the Democrats, and which sorry, just listening to him talk is really quite a laughable thing. But it says, and this was kind of like a response, fishing. They were trying to get him to acknowledge it. And they did. And we can watch the clip right here, right now.
Before the midterms was my point. But here's the thing about last night that drove me nuts. Everybody's saying, look at this rally. And when I look at the rally, what do I see? I see this QAnon people. Big time there. And these are conspiracy theorists of the...
You saw one sign.
No, that's not true. I saw people in shirts. I saw Seth Rich signs, Greg. I see lots of these conspiracies.
But that's what you choose to see.
Oh, that's what I choose to see.
You can find the fringe. There's more fringe on the left than on the right. I don't like the fringe on either side.
Here's a question for you. Why are these people attracted to Trump?
We're mostly just attracted to the truth, Juan, and to really listen to you sit there and say it in such a derogatory sense that we're conspiracy theorists of the highest order, was, I believe, what he was going to say in finishing his sentence. And to me, we're asking questions. We're examining the information that's being presented to us by presumably people connected with the President of the United States and the President of the United States himself. Because he and they understand they have to circumvent the fake news media that refuses to cover anything with an ounce or a fraction of integrity or honesty. Because, I mean, you just watch CNN and them, they don't cover what happens with this whole Mueller investigation. They don't even touch it. They call President Trump a Russian agent, accuse him of treason, when that could not be farther from the truth. The truth is that the FBI under the Obama administration, at the behest of probably the DNC and the Clinton campaign, decided to go ahead and spy on a private citizen who was running for president of the United States to get information that they hypothetically could use against him in the campaign and in the election. And then they tried to cover it all up with setting up insurance policies with people who were running the investigations at the FBI and the DOJ. And it was all under the direction of Barack Obama allegedly, Hillary Clinton allegedly. It's all allegation, it's all conjecture right now, but they won't even cover that narrative. They won't even go down that road because, I mean, the truth is mounting that is what happened. The truth is not mounting that Paul Manafort did anything with the Russians or with President Trump that was illegal. In 2005, he misreported some taxes, and now they're trying to give him 300 years in jail for it, or in prison. And so it's like you sit here and you listen to this nonsense and these crazy people, and you're just like, okay. But anyway, that's that. If you guys have any other takes, let me know. And we have a cool thing about the trip codes and the user IDs. Guys, somebody did some great work and figured out that these are all connected to books somehow. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we'll go into the next post here. It says, FISA 20, public disclosure, impossible to defend, illegal, regarding MSM, never interfere with an enemy while he's in the process of destroying himself. So there's a few things, and Q. There's a few things to take away from this. We all know what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the FISA. I don't know why Q said FISA 3 times, other than Q has told us before that there's basically, I think, 3 different versions, or I guess 4 different versions. So there's several different versions of the FISA report. So you have the one that the original FISA report, and then you had the FISA report that was amended by Rod Rosenstein, and then you have the redacted version. So it's like 3 different documents altogether. And the 20 is referring to something that Devin Nunes has been saying for quite some time publicly, that there's 20 pages that are classified within the FISA documents that explain everything I just said to you about the involvement of the Obama administration and top officials and all of the FBI and DOJ and so on, and their involvement. And that's the speculative thought now on what would be exposed in those 20 pages, although we don't know yet. So factually speaking, there's nothing to report other than we're still in the questioning phase, where we're putting together questions to see what will end up being the right outcome. What will end up being, what will be the factual outcome here? And it's saying public disclosure. So does that mean President Trump's going to release it? I don't know. But today I was watching Tucker, and I'll tell you what, Tucker is a maverick. I really respect his work, and I really like what he's done with his career. He's become a real voice of the people, and even I don't agree with Tucker on everything, so I'm not some sycophant, but to hear a lot of the things he says and a lot of the ways he phrases stuff and the way he is not afraid to go right into a conversation or a debate with somebody and call them out for their hypocrisy or their lies, as he says, the smugness and groupthink. That to me is respectable, and we should definitely be thankful that a guy like him exists and is helping us as a country to move forward, and I know I am. But that being said, let's watch him tonight with Devin Nunes, and this is like, I really wanted to like stand up and give an applause to Tucker when he went into this line of, well, you guys watch for yourselves.
It's our job as Congress to bring sunlight and full transparency to this process.
Then let's
it's in the best
do that
interest
now.
of the DOJ and FBI to let that happen.
Okay, then why don't you send it to me now, and I will put it on the air in the back half of the show. I mean it. I'm dead serious. You are the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee.
Yeah.
It is you are elected by voters to make these judgments. Bureaucrats elected by nobody are telling us, threatening us basically, that it hurts national security. You're the one with the power. Why don't you send it to me? We will put it on the air and let the public decide. Is there a penalty for that?
Well, just remember, I'm not the one with the power. Now, hypothetically, could I go to the House floor, or could I go out in my official duties and tell the American public what's in the rest of that FISA? I could. However, I mean, you already see, remember, most of the media and the left is against us and against it. They don't want the rest of this out. They want to keep this hidden. Can you imagine the field day they would have against me or if any other Republicans talked about what is now classified information?
So you have journalists arguing on behalf of holding information back. I mean, that's insane. If you live in a world where journalists are saying the public should know less, they have been discredited by definition. We don't have to listen to them. They are not journalists. They're something less. They're flacks. So is there a penalty for doing that? Because this seems like a really important question.
You understand, Chucker. Yes, that's the problem. You understand this. There's a penalty, right? So we can't create a situation. But what can happen right now? How do we get this done? Is the president just needs to step in and declassify this. He has said he doesn't want to get involved, but quite frankly, that he needs to get involved in this. It doesn't involve him. If he would just declassify it, then we as Congress would have no problem coming on your show and talking about this declassified information.
Yeah, because there's no argument against it.
Understand,
by the way, if you believe in democracy, yeah. Well, I hope someone will leak it to me. I do. Because I think the public has a right to know, and I'd love to know why the public doesn't have a right to know. And I'd love all these anchors every day telling me I don't have a right to know. Really, why? Speak slowly so I can understand. It's infuriating. Mr. Chairman, thank you for all the work you have done.
It is.
And I hope someone will send that to me. We'll put it right on the air immediately.
So there you go. I mean, Tucker lays it out perfectly. It's like, why can't we see the 20 pages? What's in there? Why is Devin Nunes telling us that, these 20 pages are going to be completely enlightening to the corruption and all of the malfeasance that's been going on behind the scenes in the dark under the guise of national security and redaction. Those are the questions that need to be answered, and I'm sure that eventually we'll get there, and we can only hope and pray for now. Now, another thing is it was illegal what happened. That's what Q's saying. It's impossible to defend. But it's saying the MSM, the mainstream media, they say, and Q gives a quote here from The Art of War, which says, never interfere with an enemy while he's in the process of destroying himself. So I thought that was, pretty obvious, pretty, self-explanatory. And I did a little bit of research and I found this article, which I thought was really interesting, where you have, this is right before the election on October 20th, 2016, where you have this guy, Barry Rosenstein, the head of a multi-billion-dollar fund, JANA Partners, who says the exact phrase there. He said on CNBC's halftime report that Clinton deserved congratulations for keeping to a Sun Tzu saying, never interfere with an enemy while he's in the process of destroying himself. He says, I don't think there's any question that she's going to take the election. Wow, this guy's really good. And he's running a multi-billion-dollar company. That's some real good insight. This guy's a real genius. And he says a Clinton win would have a neutral effect on markets. Yeah, it probably would have been neutral to negative, and as opposed to right now where you have 4.1% GDP under President Trump and a all-time high stock market adding trillions of dollars in wealth to the American people. Yeah, this guy, but he wanted to consolidate more billions into his funds, into his bank accounts. So he doesn't care about you, the American people. What he cares about was getting his buddy Clinton into office so that she could help him stay rich and help you stay poor. So that's what that is. I don't know if that's a direct shot or reference over to him, a jab at him. But, who knows? It could be anything at this point. It could just be as plain as it is. The MSM is destroying themselves, so we might as well just not interfere with that. So that's pretty much it. Another thing I want to talk about real quick before we go is this incredible story that was put together. So this is a story that just came out basically out of this Roque News. It came out a few days ago. And it is so cool. So what they were able to do is they were able to figure out that every trip code and user ID, so when you look at a Q post, that would be this is the trip code and this is the user ID. Each one of those can be connected to a book. Isn't that interesting? And apparently Q's used to date 11 trip codes and 1,100 user IDs. Now these books, the trip codes point to books right here we'll look at. Ramtha, Last Waltz of the Tyrants, The Prophecy Revisited by Ramtha. I can't say that word. Al-Ra'un. I Love Learning, I Hate School, and Anthropology of College. Barbello, The Story of Jesus Christ. Behold a Pale Horse, the William Cooper book that we've talked about before. Restoring the Republic, A Clear Conscience and Colorful Blueprint for America's Future by Devin Nunes. Another book by Devin Nunes, or the same book it would seem. The Devil's Chessboard, talking about Alan Dulles, the CIA and the Rise of the American Secret Government. The Scholia and the Avs of Aristophanes. Probably butchering that one, sorry. Anyway, that's just cool. I thought, and these are the books that, you can connect them. Now, the article basically says that what they did was they made connections with, by basically just searching the numbers in Google Books, and that's what comes up, which to me is just mind-blowing. But if that's true, then that's pretty crazy. So these books definitely are interesting. And if you want to get more info on this, I'm sure all you have to do is go search Rook.com, ROOAK.com, and put in this title, every trip code and user ID used by Q points to a book. I'm sure you'll find that. And if you want to look at the list and maybe read some of the books, feel free to. But that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this episode. I want to say thank you all for watching. Now, the best way to help the channel, if you're looking for a way to contribute, is to come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. Helps me out big time. It's free for you, and it makes a big difference. And if you're new to this and you want to learn more, watch this video or share it with friends so that they can get kind of red-pilled in on what Q is, because we've gone full mainstream. And that is a blessing, and it will also be a challenge. So we need all the help we can get to spread this by word of mouth. With that being said, though, the second best way to contribute is to scroll down at the end of this video, leave your thoughts, theories, and insights in the comments, because, like I say, we don't just talk about Q, although we try to have our own QAnon research board down there. We talk about the mainstream media. We talk about what they won't cover and what they won't cover correctly. And that in and of itself is what they are afraid of. And they don't want us talking with each other, amongst one another, and sharing these ideas and having critical thought on everything, all the lies that they've told us for so many years, and breaking down their systems of control through simple conversations. So that to me is a beautiful thing to see. And even if you can't comment, scroll down and read through the comments, because I guarantee you're going to learn something. Now, another way to help out is to come over here and find me at Twitter, at Justin_formed on Twitter. You guys can come give me a follow. That helps out big time too. I'm always writing posts and exploring different ideas, and that's where a lot of people say they have trouble with the videos, and I'm so sorry that YouTube does that. They get unsubscribed from my channel, that the videos don't show up. I've had people tell me that the audio, that my videos don't even have any video, that they're just audio sometimes. And that to me is despicable. It's deplorable. I brought this issue up with YouTube 100 times, and they just, I'm not literally 100 times, but many times, and they just say that they don't have any answers. So I don't know what to tell you other than all my videos automatically get posted over here on my Twitter account. So it's just another way to get the notifications if you're really interested to get notified when these videos get posted. So that's a great way to help out. Again, at Justin_formed on Twitter. Now, another way you can help out, if you're looking to contribute financially, the best way to do is to come over here to Patreon. That's patreon.com. And you search Just Informed Talk, and this is basically a great way to help out. You hit this button, become a patron. It's a monthly donation, and whatever you can give really helps. It keeps the channel alive, and I do this 24/7, 365 for you guys, because I love God, and I love my country, and I love you guys, and I want to do this for my family and for everyone else out there, so that we all are safe and we all know the truth, and we all are given the gift of God's grace. So if you guys contribute, that's a big deal, and it helps me out big time. So those of you who don't like monthly donations, you can come over here to gofundme.com/just-informed, And you can make a one-time contribution here, and that makes a huge difference. And I really, really appreciate it. And I'm thankful to each and every one of you. So before we go, we're going to take 1 minute to talk about the most important thing. We're going to talk about God. And today I think is a pretty simple story, but it's an important one that needs to be told. And this is a piece of scripture we're going to look at out of 1 Peter, the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, verse 8 and forward. And it's going to talk about how we should do no evil. And I know that sounds so simple, and it is. But the way that it's explained here, I think, is important for us to hear, because it explains how not only will we be rewarded for our goodness, but why it's so important. So I'm just going to read the verse right now, and then we can talk about it in a second. So the verse goes, again, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. Now finally, all of you should be like-minded and sympathetic, should love believers and be compassionate and humble, not paying back evil for evil or insult for insult, but on the contrary, giving a blessing, since you were called for this, so that you can inherit a blessing. For the one who wants to love life and to see good days must keep his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking deceit. And he must turn away from evil and do good. He must seek peace and pursue it, because the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous and his ears are open to their request. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. And I know that's so simple, but it's so profoundly amazing and true. They want to call us violent. They want to say we're about violence. We're not about violence. You know what we're about? We're about the goodness of God. We're about bringing light to where there's darkness. We're about exposing evil. We're about fighting corruption. We're about using our collective power to start a conversation in order to make them cover these stories that are so important to each one of us in our lives. And this, to me, is a calling we all share. And I'm so blessed and thankful to God for what he's been able to give me here to share this with you, give me this platform to say what I feel, and then have you guys, kind of respond and listen, and then maybe it'll affect you in just the slightest of ways, to make you ask questions and to make you go research and to make you come closer to God. They're scared of us uniting. They're scared of our unification under this purpose of fighting evil. So they want to call us evil. It's just the same tactic that they've been using forever. They accuse us of what they are most complicitly involved in spreading or doing. So they want to say that we're out there inciting violence because we shout down Jim Acosta, when the reality is they are the ones who are inciting this violence by reporting fake news and gaslighting people and riling up these masses of people to go out and protest and use violence in some cases. So that, to me, is what we have to avoid ourselves, because the what it says right here is so important. It says, be compassionate and humble, not paying back evil for evil or insult for insult, but on the contrary, giving a blessing, since you were called for this, so that you can inherit a blessing. That's what we have to do. And I know that sounds like an impossible task right now for a lot of you out there, because you are so upset at the mainstream media for lying, and you're so upset at our political leaders for their corruption, and you're so upset at the evil that exists in this world. But remember, God tells us, do not pay back evil with evil or insult with insult. For then we become that evil which we detest the most. The way we defeat this evil is by exposing it, by calling it what it is, by calling on God to expose it and give us the courage and strength and wisdom to stand up for what is right and to do what is right on a daily basis. And they're going to call us violent, and they're going to call us all these extreme things, but we're going to call them brothers and sisters, and we're going to say, we want you to come to the table. We want you to come and be a part of this great kingdom of God, and come and be a part of the movement of truth, and come and be a part of the best possible gift you could ever be a part of, and that is your eternal salvation that was already bought, paid for, signed, sealed, and delivered by Jesus Christ when he sacrificed his life for our sins. And all you have to do is repent and live by God, and you can earn that great blessing as well. So That's what I hope for them. I hope that they understand that's where we come from. And that's everyone I've met, pretty much 99% of the people along the way. That's what I think they would say too, to these accusations. So if the media are out there watching, which I'm sure they've watched this channel, I would assume, if you are out there watching, remember that's what we stand for, not the evil you accuse us of. But that's going to be it for me. I want to say thank you for watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, now's a great time to do it. Go ahead and come here, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching again. This has been Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed, and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.